Hey y'all, hey, welcome back to my channel. Today for this beauty chat and learn, we are going to be creating a spring, early summer type wedding look that is beginner friendly, okay? So first off, I want you to start off with cleansed skin. With my model here, I am using a cleansing wipe, ensuring that there is nothing left on the surface of her skin that would get in the way of her having a smooth makeup application. The next thing I'm going to do is apply a lip mask. If you have already masked or done a lip scrub, you can skip this step, but we're going to apply a lip mask in the very beginning, so that way we can remove any type of dead skin, and then that way her skin is nice and hydrated when we start applying lipstick. Next up, I am applying some serum, and then I'm going to go into, after doing serum on her face, we're going to go into with a moisturizer on her face, and then we will get into the other steps of makeup. But if nothing else that you remember, I want you to remember that your skincare is a part of any makeup look that you're doing, whether it's just wearing mascara or if you're putting on a full face, okay? Make sure you take care of your skin. That is your first step inside your beauty routine each and every time, because it has an effect on how your makeup actually turns out. Now, since we said spring and summer and you're thinking wedding or bridal showers, those things sometimes be outside, sometimes it's humid. So we're gonna start by spraying the setting spray on the face first, drying it down, and then we're gonna go in with a foundation primer. Put this on the face and allow that to dry down a little bit as well. This is just gonna make sure that the product, whatever products we're using, is not moving across the face. And if you get any hot flashes or anything like that, the face is still going to face just by following these steps prior to applying any product. Now we're taking an orange color corrector. You use an orange color corrector anytime we have any hyperpigmentation or dark spots on the skin. So for this model, her hyperpigmentation is underneath the eye and above her lip. Those where her few dark spots are. You don't want to apply more than you need. Now we're just blending this out nice and soft. You can use whatever tools work best for you. I'm using a sponge underneath the eye, a small beauty sponge, to blend it out nice and soft. These work dry and wet, and so this is just blending out the orange color corrector because you want that nice and blended before you add product. When you are above the lip, make sure you go downward. Now, we're not using foundation, so we're taking our tinted moisturizer in the shade Deep. I'm applying this in spots over the face before I start blending this out. The tinted moisturizer acts as an additional primer and giving some light coverage because we don't want to have a lot of product on the face, so we're not using foundation. Tinted moisturizer, blend it out, and then we're going to use concealer. When you're blending, make sure you go downward and towards your neck, so that way you have a nice even blend with any of the products that you're using. Now, these are the two shades of concealer we're going to use. We're using Vanilla Bean, which is a lighter shade underneath the eye. I'm making small dots underneath the eye, above the lip, where it's going to be the brighter shades, because you don't really need a lot of product. The product will move and cover, and it doesn't take a lot to cover. So once we get all the dots in place, then we're going to come back in with a nice brush, a nice small brush for underneath the eye, and we're patting the concealer downward and away from the under eye. This is so that you don't lift the product and that the product is kind of pressed into the skin. So you can use a smaller brush than this, or you can use a sponge. This is just a tool that is working for me to blend this product out. And now you can see how seamless this is blending into the model's skin and adding a brightness underneath the eye. Now let's do the other side and the other spots. Now we're going to use another concealer that's closer to the model's skin tone, and we're putting that just in, I'm putting it in a few other spots on the face, not necessarily for covering anything, just to give her a little bit more face coverage. So kind of in the place of a foundation, but we don't want foundation. We want to keep it nice and light. So after the concealer is in place, we're going to blend this out all the way around, just like with the tinted moisturizer. You want to make sure that you blend it down toward the neck and making sure everything is nice and even around the face. Now that everything is nice and even, let's go ahead and remove the lip mask, and then we're going to add some moisture back to the lip by adding we're going to put a little lip oil on the lips, and we're doing this early enough so that way we don't have as much lip oil left on the lips when we get to our lipstick set. Now we're going to move into setting under the eye. We want to set this early because we don't want it to crease. I'm using the translucent pressed powder underneath the eye first before actual setting powder. This is going to help when you want longevity with the look itself. So pressing the product underneath the eye, and then now I'm going to use the loose powder in a lighter shade because we want brightness underneath the eye. Now if you don't want brightness, use something more neutral tone, but we wanted brightness for this look, and so I'm using a lighter shade. This is our bamboo setting powder. Press under the eye and then dust off the excess. So that means we're not doing the method that you may have seen around called baking. We don't want it to bake. We just want it to be a nice soft finish. So we press in and dust off the excess on both sides. Now you want to add a little pop to your cheek. Again, you can omit this step, but adding a little pop to the cheek for a spring summer look is awesome. So I apply the product is going to be heavy on the brush when you first apply, so I put a little bit on both sides. Now we pat this on the cheekbone, and then we want to work it up the cheek, so that way we lift the face. That's what blush will allow you to do. Lift the face with a pop of color and patting it in. So you can always add more, but I will always say start off with less and then work your way into the level of color payoff that you desire. Using our highlighter powder and dust just to add that additional light to the face on the highlight bones. We're pressing this right above that blush, but just on the top of the cheekbones on that actual highlight bone on both sides, so that when the light hits it, it'll create a nice natural shine, even though we got product that's happened to create the shine. Now, one way to make your look last is to spray in between as you're doing the work. And so I spray some more setting powder, and then we want to let that dry down. And then we're going to get into our eye area. I'm going to be using a brow wax only because my model has microbladed brows, and so I'm just putting the brow wax on her natural brow hair so that way they stay laid down. And now let's prep the eyes. So I'm using concealer as an eyeshadow primer, which you can do, but once you put the concealer down, as you will see me do, is that once you put the concealer down all over the lid, take it up to exactly where you're going to be putting a shadow at, and then you want to set the concealer. The eyeshadow itself will not be enough to set the concealer, so then you want to take a translucent setting powder and just press it on. Just a little bit is all you need to press it in and set the concealer. Now let's use the Xiomara eyeshadow palette. We're taking X2, which is a soft brown shade. I like to pat it in with the blending brush first, and the reason you want to pat it in gently is so that you can kind of do it like X marks the spot, so you know where you're actually putting this product and where it's going to sit. After patting it in, that's when we get into the process of blending it out, and make sure you blend it out as much as you need to create the look that you desire. So I'm giving you the ground rules, but tweak it to however works best for you. So on the outer corner of the eye, you want to take that same brown and make sure you V it in so that you're blending it forward towards the eye, and that just creates a nice softness and a nice good transition so that you have the same shade wrapped around the upper and outer corner of the eye, and it's a seamless transition. Now we're going to take more of our warm golden shadow in X6, and we're putting it on a fluffy brush. We want to tap off the excess before putting it on the eye, so that way you don't have as much excess shimmer of the shadow falling onto the face, because it will if you don't pat your brush prior to. We're patting this on the center of the lid and going to the front just a little bit because we're going to use another golden color later. Now I'm going to take X5 out Brighter Gold, and you want to take a smaller brush if that works for your eye shape, or with a larger one if you can, and just pat it to the front. And that's going to just add an additional brighter eye pop to the front of your eye, keeping it nice and open but still soft for this beautiful spring, summer, wedding or bridal shower type looks. If you're the tindy or if it's for you, this will work. Now let's get some mascara on the lashes. Our model has some beautiful natural lashes. I'm putting mascara on, but later I will still pop on some falsies just to add an additional enhancement to the look. This Loretta mascara is a 4D waterproof, so it is perfect for spring, summertime looks because she's not going nowhere till you wash your face. Now I'm taking X2 in a small brush and I'm going underneath the eye. This is definitely optional, but this gives a soft smoke look, so it's not super deep, but it still warms out the look. I also like doing this with clients because if your eyes tend to water, if they want to water throughout the day, it is perfectly fine. The loose shadow will catch it, and by catching it, it does not move your concealer, increase your look. So it's definitely a perfect add-on. I'm popping on I think I use Nori lashes. I'm not sure which lashes I use, but yeah, it's Nori lashes. Popping on the lashes, and then we're using some setting powder and pressing that into the face. And this is a neutral setting powder, so it's pretty much just goes with her skin tone. Pressing it into the face because we want to lock in all of that concealer, tinted moisturizer. We spray this with some setting spray again and press and dry that down into the face because again, it's all about locking in what we did. So if a hot flash come, if the humidity is up, it works perfectly. So now we have to blot off that excess lip oil before we apply lip product. So we're doing 2 lip looks here that works for this. First, we're taking Jenkins, which is more of a fuchsia purple. It has purple, it has fuchsia. It's just a perfect combination, okay? It's a lovely lip color. At first I was going to ombre this lip by putting a softer brown in the center. I started it and then I looked and I decided that Jenkins all by herself makes a perfect lip combo, so I went back over and just did all Jenkins. And as my model opened her eyes and you see this full look, this is an amazing look. You can dress this up or dress it down, but then if you want to switch the lippy and go in with something a little bolder, more pop to it, you can do that. So right here we're taking our liquid matte lipstick in shade Let, and I'm putting that all over her lip, and then I'm putting our liner and crazing on the outside. Now let me just say this. Normally I line first and then put on a liquid matte because the liquid matte dries down fast, but I didn't think about wanting to add liner until after, and so that's why the liner was after. So before you put your liner on first, if you choose to wear liner with this look, and then put on the lip. But either way will work. You just have to work a little bit harder like I did. I had to work harder and faster to get this to blend in before that liquid matte dried down. All right, so now we have our second lip look. So you got 2 lip looks with this beautiful face look perfect for spring and summertime. I hope you enjoyed this beauty chat and learn. If you have any questions, feel free to drop it in the comments. Please make sure you subscribe and follow. Peace out.